Hey there, and welcome to the Contentment Creator Podcast, a show designed especially for creative entrepreneurs just like you who are committed to a beautiful life that's rooted in courage and contentment, and that's blooming with creativity and prosperity. I'm your host, Ellen Broen, a certified life coach, a singer, a mother, and a lover of alliteration, dogs, and deep conversation. This show is designed to become a part of your daily routine to help you, fellow contentment creator, dig deep, to clarify your life vision, catalyze your creative flow, and fuel your entrepreneurial fire in just a few inspiring minutes each day. Each Monday, we talk about conscious living, and today's episode is all about learning how to fight better in our relationships. I recently received some comments from my previous episodes addressing relationship dynamics, where these people heard what I was trying to offer, but felt like their partner or their relationship wasn't able to achieve it, no matter what they tried. It brought to mind a number of key perspective shifts and tools I've found that create the most transformation in my clients' relationships, and I'm excited to share them with you this week. Many of them have to do with how we approach conflict, overcome resentment, and put aside our judgment with our partner, and much more. So be sure to stay tuned this week if these would be valuable to you. Let's talk about fighting. Some couples fight like it's a professional sport. Quick jabs, counterpoints, and a dramatic exit before the final round. Others treat conflict like a gas leak. Avoid it at all costs. Crack a window and hope it dissipates on its own. But here's the million-dollar question. Which approach actually makes a marriage stronger? We all know conflict is unavoidable, but how we handle it determines whether it deepens connection or drives a wedge between us. Today, we're diving into the messy, awkward, and very real world of conflict in relationships. When to lean in, when to step back, and how to argue in a way that actually brings you closer. First things first, fighting itself isn't bad. Dr. John Gottman, one of the leading marriage researchers, found that it's not whether the couples fight, but how they fight that predicts divorce. The real danger isn't arguing, it's unresolved resentment and disconnection. Because whether we're throwing verbal punches or silently stewing, unprocessed emotions don't just evaporate. They go underground and they build pressure. And here's where things get tricky. We usually default to the conflict style we grew up with. If your parents yelled and slammed doors, conflict might make you instantly defensive. If you grew up in a house where no one raised their voice, you might avoid conflict altogether because it feels unsafe. Neither extreme works. The goal isn't to stop fighting, it's to fight better. There are 4 common survival modes we tend to enter into when the nervous system gets activated: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Some of us lean towards fighting, getting defensive or aggressive when emotions run high. Others take flight, avoiding the conversation entirely and hoping it just blows over. Freezing looks like shutting down completely, going silent, numbing out, and emotionally checking out of the moment. And fawning is people-pleasing, where we abandon our own needs and smooth things over just to keep the peace. None of these are inherently bad, but they do keep us stuck in cycles that don't bring real resolution. The goal is to recognize your default reaction and consciously choose something different, something that brings you and your partner closer instead of reinforcing distance. Avoidance can feel peaceful until it doesn't. When we dodge hard conversations, we don't actually avoid conflict. We just delay it. It's like ignoring that weird noise your car's making and then being surprised when it breaks down on the highway. Silence doesn't equal harmony. When we avoid addressing problems, we start making up stories about our partner's actions or inactions. Instead of clearing the air, we assume, internalize, and over time, our frustration mutates into resentment. So if avoidance isn't the answer, does that mean we should just fight it out? Well, not exactly. If fighting were the solution, every couple who's had a screaming match in Target would be thriving. But here's the trick: healthy conflict isn't about winning, it's about understanding. So, how do we argue without wrecking our relationship? Three small but powerful shifts. The first is to name what's happening in real time. The moment you feel the surge of irritation, pause and name it. Simply saying, I'm getting frustrated, or I feel really defensive right now, creates an interruption. It moves the conversation from a knee jerk reaction to a conscious moment where you both acknowledge what's happening before it spirals. The second shift is drop the scoreboard. Nothing kills connection faster than keeping score. If every argument is about proving who's right, nobody wins. Instead of saying, you always do this, try, here's how I felt when this happened. Own your emotions, not your partner's behavior. And finally, repair, repair, repair. Conflict isn't the problem. Lack of repair is. Gottman found the strongest couples don't avoid arguments, they just know how to make up afterward. A simple, hey, I didn't handle that well. I love you. Let's reset, can be the difference between an argument that lingers for weeks and one that passes in minutes. When handled well, conflict isn't a threat to our marriage. It's an invitation to understand each other better. So next time tension rises, instead of fighting to win or withdrawing to keep the peace, try this: fight to connect. Because in the end, the strongest couples aren't the ones who never fight. They're the ones who learn how to fight well. Thanks for being here with me. If this resonated, share it with someone who might need to hear it too. Tune in tomorrow if you're curious how your creativity can be your best trick at overcoming resentment in your relationship. If you enjoyed today's episode, please show your support by leaving reviews and comments. It would truly mean the world to me to hear from you. And hit that subscribe button so you never miss a day, and join me in my mission to help a world full of content creators become a world of contentment creators.